Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, folks. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. It's Danny Tisdale, and you're listening. Well, you're tuned in to the Danny Tisdale Show, and you're about to hear another great guest as we celebrate Black Music Month. And as I said, I hope you're doing well because I'm doing great. I've got my water. I've got my juice next to me. All is well. Of course, it's Harlem World Radio, and I thank you for being with us. And as I usually do before we get started and speaking to our fabulous guests, if you have any questions, you can tweet us, send us a Facebook question, all across our platforms. Just put in Harlem World Magazine and you'll find us wherever we may be, wherever you are. Today we welcome another great guest as part of our Leaders, Legends, and Trailblazers series of incredible Harlemites who are doing things all around the world as we celebrate Harlem, the greatest community in the world. I'm going to do a little tease before we get started, and let's see if you can guess who our guest might be. You know what? We're going to come back to that because it looks like it's not ready. But let me go right into our intro. Harlem's Freddie Jackson is a Grammy-nominated singer. He began his professional music career late in the 1970s with California funk band Mystic Merlin. I think I got that right. Among his well-known R&B soul hits are Rock Me Tonight, Have You Ever Loved Somebody, Jam Tonight, Do Me Again, You Are My Lady. There's many, many, many more. He's contributed to the soundtrack of the 1989 film All Dogs Go to Heaven with Michael Lloyd, produced duet Love Survives. It's a duet, excuse me. He has a new music today that he is going to talk with us today as we celebrate Black Music Month. And how are you doing, Mr. Jackson?
Mr. Tisdale, I'm doing just wonderful, and thank you so much. It's my honor to speak to you, considering the fact that I'm born on 123rd Street, born in the site, the old Sydenham Hospital now, which is now the new firehouse owned by Mr. George Faison. But I'm a true Harlemite, so I'm honored to be on the radio with you.
Well, and you know, we love Harlem, and we love true Harlemites, and especially when they call it out and say it. And it is so great to, you know, have you on the show. I've listened to your music, you know, as far back as when you started making those hits. And, you know, as an artist in the visual art world, I'm always interested in the things that inspire other artists, especially artists. And you know, I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to, get involved in music? Or did you just wake up one morning and you had this incredible voice and it said, I'm going to be a vocal artist?
Well, be it that I was born 4 blocks away from the Apollo Theater. The Apollo Theater is my school of education. So I had the pleasure of sitting there every Saturday. My educators were Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye, Otis Redding, James Brown, Inez and Charlie Fox, Joe Tex, Donny Hathaway. Those are my teachers. And so I just didn't wake up and say that this is something that I want to do. It's something that was in my heart and in my spirit and in my soul as a child, going to the Mount Nebo Baptist Church on 127th Street and singing every Sunday as the church soloist, and then moving to the White Rock Baptist Church where I met Mr. Paul Lawrence, also the same church that Ashford and Simpson went to. So my mother went into labor with me while she was doing a concert at Mount Nebo, and 12 hours later, I was born into the world of singing, melody, harmony, because my mother, as in the womb, my mother was singing. So I guess it filtered into me, and so that is my reason, I think, for having this gift of vocal to be able to sing. I didn't go to school to learn it, but it's something that was just bestowed upon me in my Harlem roots. Every street corner from 8th Avenue to 5th Avenue, Lenox. Now they call it everything else, but I knew it as 7th, 7th,
Right.
8th, and Lenox. But it's called everything else now. But I know it for the Loews Theater and Woolworths and Bloomstein's and John's Bargain Store. That's what I know Harlem for. And the Amsterdam News that's around the corner and Small's Paradise and all of those places. So Harlem is embedded in my soul no matter where it is that I go. So my inspiration came from sitting in one of those seats at the Apollo Theater all of my life.
Well, that's amazing. And why love songs, and not some other theme, but you have this incredible ability to sing love songs, and the staff didn't want me to say this, but I'm going to say it, is that you must have helped create tons of families around the world listening to your music, because the way that you sing about love and remembering love and being in love, where does that, has that always been the case, or as you became an adult you start singing about love?
Well, as a child, as I said, in church I was the church soloist, so I was given most of the care of the pew songs to sing. Precious Lord, Take My Hand, Walk Around Heaven All Day, Amazing Grace. Those songs that got real big offerings after I got finished singing. So, so I was given those songs of gospel songs of love to sing, and so I think me caressing, of course, God and me caressing gospel music is very intense. As I grew older, and as I said, I started going to the Apollo and watching and molding myself after the Sam Cookes and the Manhattan, Joe Austin, and guys like that. I then got into the secular music. And so all of a sudden I meet this guy, Paul Lawrence at White Rock, and he comes and he brings me this song about rocking somebody for old time's sake. And we were in the choir together, but that truly wasn't about White Rock nor rocking about Jesus. That was about
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was like some late night stuff. But then I run into these people that say, Freddie Jackson, because of you, this is a tasty love baby. So I've got tasty love babies, and I could use a little love right now, baby, and do me again, babies, all over the world. So I end up usually saying, that's nice, but Maury Povich would say, I am not the father. But I've helped to procreate, and I'm proud that I believe, as in back in the day, as Nat King Cole would sing, "Unforgettable." A true love song will never die.
Great
it
song.
will live its way surpasses who you think you are, because a true love song will never die, no matter what the industry tries to say about a love ballad today. I enjoy singing about love, and that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Well, we've I don't want to sound negative, but we've kind of lost that idea of a love song. Now I'm not going to say the words, but we've kind of, I could be wrong, but have we kind of lost the idea of a love song or a love ballad? Today it's like, I'm not going to even try to say the words, but do you think we've kind of lost that idea of the love ballad, of the love song?
Of course we have. You know what it is? Because we're lacking passion. We're lacking romance.
Right.
Today it's about guys and girls used to actually look at each other in the eye and say, remember we used to say, I quit her, I quit him, but we would do it face to face. We're now in a time where we just press a button and
send a text.
we just block out folk without even saying, Didn't I send you an email that we're not together anymore? So we're living in.
You didn't get that?
We're sitting. Huh?
No, it's like you didn't get that text I sent you that said that
Well,
we're not.
that we're no longer a couple. You know,
Right.
I emailed you last week. So what now? The reason
Crazy.
why a lot of love songs are not happening anymore because a lot of people really are not romantically together. People are together because they're Facebooking each other or going on their computers,
Right.
and they have fictitious friends all over the world. And then when it comes to really getting to know someone and sitting down and conversating with someone, they miss that whole cycle. So therefore, a love song really is something that happens in the moment of you getting busy and not something that you really take to heart. So we've lost the romance, how to be romantic.
That's
young
it.
ladies,
That's
young
it.
men have lost the essence of being romantic. So to be honest with you, they don't really need a love song. All they need to know is what time we go get it. That's why I'm glad I recorded Tasty Love, what I did, because I'm still in the game.
Well, it's, I'm going to say it, and it makes me sound old because I am older, but I miss that. I miss the love song. I miss the romance, and, I know one cannot go back in time. It's not, we don't have that kind of machine, but I just wanted to say that I missed that romance, and, it was great because I listened to some of your songs before we started the show and just love that idea of romance and,
Yes.
you are my lady.
100%. Because you know why? Because and always doesn't and never feel that way because I believe that what's old is new. So the old way that you feel about romance, it's new today, and there's somebody waiting for you to love them with that for old time's sake. Trust me, there's somebody that's longing for that romance. Somebody is longing for you to give them flowers and to talk that talk and whisper that special thing in their ear. There's somebody. So what's old is new. Yes, we grow old, but love
that's a good
never
point.
does.
That's a very good point, and that's something that I'll always remember what you just said because that is true. And I see those things in my life, but it's different when somebody says it, and especially when a superstar from Harlem, like you say it, and
that's very nice of you. Thank you.
Oh, it's true. It's true. I don't want to talk about it yet, but I say it's true because you've got another song that's come out that I'm going to ask you about a little later. But I was speaking to there goes my age. Melba Moore. In an earlier podcast, and, she is doing new music. I know that you have new music. You would think that you'd, take your boots and hang them up and take your suit off and say, you know what, that's it. But what continues to drive you to create music and create great music like you do? Where did you get that drive from?
Well, I get a lot of it from my audience and my fans. Thank God, with or without a record, that I do still work, and my audience is very important to me. And what what drives me is knowing sometimes when the going gets tougher and tougher gets going, even when I'm with or without certain things that I may need, that my need to give the best of Freddie Jackson is really what's the most important thing. And so if I'm not able to do that thing like sing, to go on stage and to make those people that are there for me, even when I can't hold myself up, then I think that I've let myself down as well as I've let down people who are in need of that love song. As Stevie Wonder says, love's in need of love. Love is in need of love today. And so it's important for me to continue to pass that on because I can always come back and fix Freddie. But I can't come back and fix people that have been depending on me and I've kind of like let them go because of my own selfishness, because I'm not a selfish man. So what keeps me motivated in going and recording new albums, as I did last year, is because I know I have an audience that wants more from Freddie Jackson.
Right.
And like Melba Moore in the song we sung, we're going to continue to give you just a little bit more, as much as you possibly can.
Oh, well, I'm such a hater because, beautiful voice, and I can't sing. Well, I did say that to somebody that I have had a hit in the shower. I have a couple of hits that I've had in the shower that nobody's ever heard, but that's besides the point. I just want.
Well, you know what? As Michael Jackson would say, keep it in the closet. It's okay. It belongs to you.
I have to keep it in the shower, right?
Keep it in the shower, and you're right. Beyond the shower, the closet. Yeah, keep it in the shower. But music comes from your heart, and it comes from your. Yeah, keep it. That's a new record. Keep it in the shower. But music comes from your heart and soul, and when it comes from me, my mother used to always say, "What comes from the heart will reach the heart." And so, as long as you continue in the shower, let it come from your heart. Sing, son, sing.
And stay in the shower. At least that's what my girlfriend said.
And stay in the shower. There's an audience for everybody.
Mr. Jackson, I just want our listeners to know that they're listening to Harlem World Radio, and they're listening to the Danny Tisdale Show, and we have, of course, another great guest, and it's Mr. Freddie Jackson, and we're talking and celebrating Black Music Month here in Harlem and really around the world. We're digging deep into music and its influences and where it comes from. And I wanted to, also ask you, when did you realize that music was your career? That you had this talent, that this was going to be the thing that you were going to do for the rest of your life? Was there an aha moment, the clouds parted, and Jesus raised her hands and said, you have been anointed, or?
Well, it happened for me when Paul Lawrence, who wrote About Me Tonight, called me as I was working my full-time job as a word processor for an engineering firm. And he
right?
called me and said, yeah, I did my 9-to-5 work. I did the subway. I did my knish for lunch. I did the whole 9 yards. But Paul called me and said, you need to really get up and out of that computer world and pursue your singing and your performing, because you are really you're sitting on something that the world should have. And so I left my security. I left my 401k. I left my retirement. And I left everything and said, right now, I guess if I don't try this now, I'll never do it. So at the age of 26 years old, I quit my full-time job, and I then began to pursue my career as a solo singer, as a background singer. And my background work also, I got involved with Melba Moore singing background for her. My first recording,
she mentioned that.
And my first recording as a background singer, I sang on a Harry Belafonte album. So I was also groomed by the incredible Mr. Harry Belafonte. See, I come from a lot of hidden little secrets, but Harry would teach us how to be gentlemen in all things that we do, no matter what the world thinks of you, but you had to walk the walk of being a gentleman that he said it would take you further than you ever imagined that it could take you, but you've got to first always remain a gentleman. So, and then I went on singing background for in 2 May albums, the Juicy Fruit album, Glenn Jones Show Me. The list goes on and on and on. But I knew at that point that that's when Paul Lawrence invited my management to come and see me at a club called Freddie's on the East Side, that I was in it. And that was after I had already made an album with Mystic Merlin, and they were on Capitol Records. But I went back to my full-time job after I made the record with Mystic Merlin, because I was like, I don't know if I really want to do this music stuff. But then Paul said, no, you need to really entertain it. So at that time in my life, I felt like, let me give it a shot. So it was around 26 years old when I took up my cross and I walked and I wrote songs living in the projects, such as Jam Tonight. Paul Lawrence wrote Rock Tonight in the project. So I have the tendency to tell people and make a joke. Yeah, you see, not every song is written with a golden spoon. I've had number one records that were written in the project, so that's okay.
that works. You know, when I spoke to Melba Moore, she mentioned a similar scenario because she said that she was teaching and she stopped teaching to follow her journey, her career. And is that what it takes? Is that you just have to make the commitment and have faith?
You know, you just gotta step. You hit the word. I was gonna say that. That's strange. It's almost like reading each other's mind. You gotta step out on faith. You gotta believe that what it is that you have to offer is worth that time to consume to consume it 24 hours a day, and you got to step out on it. And you got to step out on it at the right time. You can't wait and keep holding on. I have a friend who's up in age, and he's like, well, you know, I'm going to make a record. I'm like, man, you should have made that record about 30 years ago. Time waits for no one. But not disparaging him, but to say, you know, when you feel it, you got to jump at it and get it done. And that's what I did. And I'm glad. And I laugh with Melba because I'm like, my God, I would have hated to have been one of the students in your class and did something wrong, and all you did was hit a high note and hold it for about 2 minutes. I said I would have always done my homework.
Break glasses, break heads, and break everything else, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, God, break up the chemistry class. I said, God, I would hate to have been one of your students. And you just held one of those notes and said, no. It would have been a mess.
Well, you know, I'm always optimistic. I'm always taking a positive path. That's the way my mother taught me. But I just want to instigate for a second because, you know, there may be somebody listening who is, you know, in his or her 20s, and they're working in a tech environment, and they have an incredible voice, and they may not have the confidence. They may not, and they may say, you know what, I'm not going to risk my 401k, you know, because 401k, because, you know, that's money. That's future money. I got kids. What do you say to somebody like that?
Well, you know, you have to get, it's what it is. It's called a chance. And every day you wake up, it's a chance. Every day you go to sleep, we die. Every day every night we go to sleep, every we wake up, that's a blessing. And that's given by God. You've got to say to yourself, is this something that I really want to do? Or is this something that I just have a passion, that I just have a little passion for? But if it's a strong passion, then you're willing to sacrifice everything in order to get it done. And that's what I did. I said, if I don't do this now, I don't want to come back and say, if I could have, would have, should have. So when you feel it, you know it's time to get it done. Because to live in that world of if I could have, would have, should have, is really playing yourself down. So don't look forward to that day. Look forward to the day that you have that's before you. As I said to someone else, you have to value who it is that you are, what it is that you have to offer, because valuing it means more than anything else in the world. So if you value the gift that you have, then you step out on faith and you get it done.
Step out on faith, brother. That's great words. And, you know, and that made me think, you know, that just made me think of something I've been wanting to ask you for a long time, because I did know that you came out of the church. And have you ever thought of doing a gospel album?
Oh, yes, of course, yeah. Melba Moore and I had the pleasure of doing a song together on an inspirational album, and we both enjoyed it. And eventually I will do a complete gospel album.
Ooh.
But I think that all things come in time. But you must.
You're right.
For me, I just don't want to say I'm making a gospel album. I want to intentionally be ready to make an album like that because that speaks from another level of my inside, and I want to be prepared. I don't want to do it for form of fashion. I want to do it because there's something that the Lord has really bestowed upon me and put in my heart to deliver. So when that time comes, you all will know it.
Okay, you almost made me go to church over here talking like that, because, there's something close to me. But I also wanted to ask you, do you have, I know it's not going to be a fair question to the rest of your songs. Do you have a favorite song that you've done?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, it's Have You Ever Loved Somebody? It says, have you ever loved somebody? Can you learn to love somebody the way somebody loves you? It takes two to truly love. And sometimes you got to pull back in a relationship and sit somebody down and look at them straight in the eye and say, do you love me as much as I love you? Or do you just like my money?
That's some serious stuff right
love
there.
Love is an incredible thing. So to me, that song just speaks in volumes. Have you ever loved somebody?
Certainly so, and I all I'm going to say is that I identify with it, and it makes my heart rush when I hear you talk about that song. It's just really one of my favorite songs also. And we're already, Mr. Jackson, at our last few minutes here, and so I have about 2 or 3 questions, and so I'm going to try to get them in as quickly as possible. Do you have a favorite place in Harlem, maybe where you love to eat or where you love to relax or, go to the park?
I can't say one of them because then I'll be in trouble because Harlem is my soul food capital of the world. And so, of course, Mama Sylvia, who used to embrace me and hold me and sit me in the corner with her and sometimes go back and fix me some personally herself. So, but then it ran into her niece, Melba. So Melba's restaurant right on the corner, 2 blocks away from my apartment in Harlem. Melba has always fed me, and then I got the nerve to go to 116th Street to Amy Ruth, and they stopped it to me. And then I go to my wonderful friend Norma Spoonbread. So with all 4 of those, Freddie Jackson, who lost weight, is now eating more than ever before. So those are my favorite comfort spots.
I was going to say, they might be rolling you out on the next concert if you eating like that. That is some really good food.
Well, listen, I can use it. I lost a lot of weight, so right now I can use a little chicken right now.
And we're at the 2 minutes, and so I'm going to ask you 2 quick questions.
Okay.
Anything about the new song, and how can people stay in contact with you?
Well, the new song is a passion of mine. Passion, back to that word. Find my way. Because there was a time when I was really a little afraid of what I was going to be doing, if I really wanted to continue this. But then, like I said, my fans need more than anything in the world. So I found my way back into loving this one more time. So Find My Way on the Love Signals album is one of my favorite songs. And you can go on all you got to do is type Freddie Jackson, and you can find me on any website, Instagram, my face, your face, Face the Nation. I don't know. I'm all over everywhere. So that's how you can connect with me.
Thank you, sir, for being on my show, our show, and celebrating Black Music Month and celebrating Harlem and celebrating you and celebrating a great community. And I really enjoyed the conversation and learned a lot at the same time because, I will look at my passion more and take your advice. And really thank you for being on the show. Thank you, Freddie Jackson.
It is my pleasure. And let everybody in Harlem know that Freddie's loving them, and Freddie's always, my heart and my soul is always in my Harlem.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it, and the best to you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, folks, another great guest and another good show, I think, anyway. And you can let me know if you disagree. As we've said, Facebook, Twitter, hit us up at HarlemWorldMagazine.com, HW Mag on Twitter, and Harlem World Magazine on Facebook. And we look forward to having you back on the line for our next show. Thank you.